Hi, this video is to help you do step 6 of your focusing activity, which is to choose an instructional activity. So far, you have determined what you want the students to learn through your student learning outcome. You've chosen an appropriate assessment task, which is going to give you evidence of that student learning outcome. And now you're going to choose an instructional activity that's going to give your students opportunities to demonstrate that student learning outcome. To write instruction, I've provided some of our lesson resources that we've covered in both class and also on the course calendar, some text and web resources to get some background on how to write instruction. But for example, if I have an SLO that requires a writing task, then I need to make sure I choose and create an instructional activity that provides opportunities for students to write. We only have 20 minutes, so we're only going to do an instructional activity that can be completed within that time limit, so you'll need to make those adjustments. So keep it very simple. For example, I want something to demonstrate students being able to write their perceptions of great teacher characteristics, so I want to create a writing activity that will demonstrate that. And so I think I'm going to have students demonstrate by creating two lists and then compare those lists to see how they stack up being a great teacher. So one list for themselves as a characteristics of a teacher, and one list to demonstrate the characteristics of a great teacher. Now once I've chosen this instructional activity, we want to make this lesson engaging. And so we apply what we call the CREED standards. And again, I have provided a link in which you can go deeper into CREED standards. And it's an instructional approach that incorporates some of the best teaching practices or wise practices in indigenous societies such as Native American and Native Hawaiians. I use a mnemonic to help you remember the CREED lessons. So for example, when I want to create a great lesson, I keep in my mind to teach and model meaningful language. And that means every instruction that I do, I want students to try to talk and think, which is the T here, choose and collaborate in the lesson, which is the C here. I want to be able to model both student and teacher demonstrations of learning. That means show it, what it's supposed to look like. I want to make it meaningful, where I connect it to the student's life, and I want to incorporate the new language and concepts into the lesson itself. When you try to put all these pieces in, you get a great engaging lesson. So I want to show an example. Well, I have below here an example of those teacher characteristics, those CREED standards in our teacher characteristics activity example, so you can see how we found them in each one. After I get my CREED going to make this engaging, I want to be able to write out a lesson step by step in enough detail so a teacher could follow. Here's the one thing that you want to keep in mind. When you're writing out the steps, don't say what to do, describe how to do it as best you can. And that way you'll give the folks doing the lesson much clearer details of what they're supposed to do. And this is the thing that will get posted up, or that you will demonstrate to the students, the fellow students in your class, when you actually do the lesson itself. Okay? I think that covers that, and so go ahead and go on to the next step.